All right.
Thank you.
Call the roll call, please.
Councilwoman Porter. Here. Councilman Bell,
Present.
Councilman Gilner,
Present.
Councilman Sutter, Councilman Twitchell,
Here.
Councilman Phillips,
Present.
Councilman Councilman Gott, sorry,
Here.
Councilman Price,
Present. There being a quorum, I'll call this meeting to order for the Council of the Whole work session. Councilman Bell, will you lead us in pledge of allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty for all.
All right, City Council, I do have an update. A list of city items and also enterprise items. I just want to kind of go run down through the list of what we got. First off is Dave Johnner property here on the corner. That's been deeded over to the city and it's been if it has been filed, it's going to be filed at the recorder's office.
Do I have a question on that?
Yeah.
We do not have to take property, right?
No, we do not have to take property.
Because we're not in the real estate.
No.
business.
I think the discussion we had on taking that property is our long range plans trying to make that space green.
I understand that. I was bringing up
Yeah.
about future people wanting to get rid of their properties that they're not taken care of.
Right. Right.
And, if we're not careful, I think we need to really scrutinize every piece of property.
Yeah.
See how it will fit in to any plan that we have.
So I've expressed interest in property that's in the floodplain with a potential person. And just to the fact that we're trying to turn it green down there, but we're not looking to make huge investments.
Okay.
Yeah, but we are interested in having opportunity to acquire property that's in the floodplain.
Just making sure that it's in accordance with our comprehensive plan.
Mhm.
You know, we kind of talked about that in the process, so.
Yeah,
I
so,
think Mr. Gilner's right on, you know, every piece should be, everything we look at should be in accordance with that comprehensive plan.
Yep.
In terms of how we use it and what we acquire and don't acquire.
yeah, and everything like
Yeah.
that, well,
Yeah.
this comes before this body, so.
Yeah.
You may have it on your list already. I may be jumping the gun. But just curious on those two properties that were what was this guy's name again? Jonas properties that we just got, right? Then there's
Johnner, yes.
Johnner property. And then there's two more properties kind of right next door to that look in pretty bad shape too. Do we have any word on those? Where those stand?
And they're both wanting to offload those properties, but I'm not sure a dollar value yet, if they're willing to make a donation or take an offer. But no, nothing directly.
All four of those would be really great to get. And then, of course, my next question is, where do we stand with the Silly Ice plant?
So I did get an estimate. If we, a complete estimate, one-stop shop, if we wanted to go in there and tear everything down, dig out the basement and level the lot off. Get rid of the old scales, everything. If you gave a dollar amount to someone, say, here, do it, and we have no other part in it. It's about $105,000.
If
So-
we're spending that kind of money.
So that's
That's what we have to be careful of.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, so the thought process is now for that property in particular, because that's on my list to talk about, is to go ahead and get a price just to go ahead and knock the brick down to the ground level. Just get it down to the ground and see what that price is. And that may be something that we can do. I mean, we got the equipment to do it and we got the trucks to haul it off and so forth, but I want to kind of get a price. When you start loading brick in the back of a dump truck, it's a lot of abuse on a bed of a dump truck, yeah. And we're not really set up as a demolition crew by any means, but I do want to get some pricing and figure out what alternatives we have on that.
What can we do to him liability wise?
Well, we can find him $500 a day. But that's not an issue. I mean, we can do that. Because I think at the end of the day, we are already into him or he's into us, up to about $8,000 right now. Ever since the fire that he had. So one of the questions that we brought up to our city attorney and she's working on is to see what type of a adverse possession or what can we do to acquire that. And we balance that out with our budget and what we want to see done.
are we talking about the ice? I got an
Yes.
email for you
Yeah.
tonight. We're talking about the ice
Yes.
house, okay.
Is there any way we could get some type of a grant to help us out with that maybe?
Yeah, we just applying for the grants and trying to get the grants.
Then that would take care of.
The CBDG grants would work
Yeah.
on that. So,
We still go through Mark Twain on
Yep.
that?
Yep. Mark Twain Regional Council of Governments, yep.
But we still haven't gotten adverse possession.
No, we have, the attorney hasn't come back with that property and Hart's property up on 79 and E Street. Our previous city attorneys had started working on that property he's into us about 16,000,
I don't know that.
Yeah. but,
Used to be an old gas station.
Mhm.
yeah. And we paid to have a study on that done, environmental study. We do have that paperwork.
I don't know if anything's ever been taken out of it.
Where
Maybe
is
not.
that?
You know where E
Maybe
Street
not.
is? E Street that goes up to the hill?
The individual did.
It's the corner of E and 79 or Frankfurt.
Did it one time. That's all, everything had underground.
And I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
Up
Yes.
in north town up there.
Yeah, okay. But I'll drive up there and take a look, but I
Yeah.
don't know that one.
We've already tore down the building. Now there's a house on the backside and it still has some debris, stuff around that.
The house belonged to the individual.
Is that another-
Living in it.
Is that another property we now own?
No. No, it's still, previous city attorney started the process, but it was dropped. Now it's dropped about 2 years ago.
Yeah, because I don't see any need to get it, whereas the ice house,
Yeah,
with all that, that's definitely in the parks idea.
And once we take that over, we have to insure it and everything.
yeah, our policy with mobile perm stuff, we just have to notify them to include it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So on the old ice house, I want to get some pricing because I don't think we can pull the trigger for 105,000 right now. But if we can knock it down and piecemeal it, maybe
Can you sell the brick?
They tried.
you could. But it's kind of like, I'll give you an example, we had the property at Douglas and was it 15th or 16th Street? And we tore it down and the city and the council at the time wanted to see if they can sell off a lot of the items that were still there. And they hauled a lot of it to the impound lot, mowers and tools and different things like that and try to get rid of it. And they spent 3 months, the city spent 3 months getting that building emptied out and getting it all squared away. And they didn't recover anything, hardly. I mean, people bought the mowers and everything else as one lot for $1, you know, so it's just, so it's not worth our time, because I'm bringing this up because Gertha Hodges property right now it's on the chopping block. We've already talked about tearing it down and we got,
Which one's that, Tim?
it's on South Carolina Street, right there at the
914 or something like that.
yeah, 914. It's in between 9th and 10th Streets there.
In South Carolina?
Yeah, South Carolina. It's the wood frame house that sits back in the large lot.
That used to be really pretty.
And we don't have any financial obligation with that.
No, it's been condemned for several years now. And it's a public nuisance.
That's
It's,
the one that we're paying, to mow the grass for the house without a roof.
yeah. So, so the big thing is, I've heard from people interested in whatever contents that house has. And I want, for all transparency, if anyone wants to peek through the window and look through any of that stuff, I mean, because the rumor mills and, you know, as well, you know, I've taken stuff out of there, and, you know, grounds people's taking stuff out of there
You'd be
and
surprised who's taking stuff out.
and stuff like that. So,
So go peek and I'll tell her that you're doing it.
So-
It's what Steve will be the fall guy.
so the thing about it's up, so the question I want to ask the council is do we want to try to go through a process of emptying the thing out? I mean, there's mold, there's everything else. It's unsafe for anyone to go in there, really. And we did empty out those 2 sheds, the outside sheds, and they just threw it inside the house. And just, you know, because we're utilizing the sheds for the
I
temporary
mean,
office.
given the return on the time and everything that it would take to do all that. I just don't know if the city should be in the business of running an auction service.
Well,
And I would just knock it down, haul it off, and they lose what they lose.
yeah.
I mean, it's been sitting there for how long in this state? Now all of a sudden they're gonna get upset because we're hauling this stuff off.
I mean, I won't argue with logic that there might be plates, there might be something that's in there that can be usable. But the safety and the time to go in there and try to break it out, then to try to sell it and stuff,
And get 2 cents on the dollar. It's not worth the time.
so that's my thoughts, but I wanted to ask the council, ask you all what your thoughts were on it.
I agree with
It's-
you. Knock it down.
I just, because of the rumor mill, and I wish there was some way that we could pull stuff out into the yard and say, hey, if you want to come and get it. But then the problem
Now
is
you're
the
putting
safety.
somebody's life and liability is going in.
If you
Right,
go in there and look at it, the floors are rotted out into the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So if you walk in. you
there's
might
mold,
walk through.
black mold, junk, it's just make it sick.
You're clear room. I mean, you step on the first board, you're in the basement.
So the biggest thing is this right now, we're talking about it. This is the transparency side of it. There's nothing that we're trying to hide, and while it's being torn down, if someone wants to stand back and away from the street and watch what happens, but and if any of the council members want to peek through the window and see what we're talking about, more than happy to have the grounds guys take y'all and open up the door and let y'all just peek in. Cause the last thing I want is in the rumor mill, you know, that.
There probably is stuff in there that's worth money, but we don't know what's in there, so we'll never know if we just knock it down and shit and haul off.
Right.
And nobody in this town knows what's in there.
It's too dangerous to live, sounds like it's too dangerous to let anybody go in and try to retrieve it.
I don't think we should be liable for
Right.
it at all.
Was it 21? When the papers were served on that house, I think on the door.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had 4 years, 3 years to figure this out. Nobody seems to wanna do it. Now, all of a sudden,
I mean, her family doesn't even, I think she.
you know, and
The family,
Yeah, we-
what's the family's
we-
position?
Well, so we would have torn it down last year, but I did have one potential person that was trying to get a hold of the family members to see about taking possession and trying to rehab it, but they couldn't even get in contact. I believe there's two daughters and a son, I believe. I may be mistaken on
That's
that.
right.
But there's been no success as far as getting a hold of them. So,
Well, we're gonna hear about it from probably. Historic homes, whatever they're.
as long as you're just not surprised, that's the whole thing. As long as we're
I
not
know that,
surprised.
one daughter is.
If we start worrying about what people say about us, then we might as well just go home.
It's all part of the deal.
Yeah,
It's, like I said, I just wish there was,
I believe the one daughter is a doctor and,
yeah,
I mean, she should be interested in it, I would have thought.
yeah, you're right.
so who's going to pay for the knocking and building down after we knock it down?
So what we do is,
Who
we'll,
owns the property?
so what we do is we knock it down, we put a lien on it. There's taxes that's owed on the county and there's taxes that's owed from the city. There's a liens that's owed to the city for mowing the property for the past several years. And then once we tear it down, there'll be a lien on the property then. So then we'll look at an adverse possession type of a deal. And work that way, at least, we might be able to sell the lot and recoup our expenses, or at least part of our expenses for tearing it down.
One of the ideas that you had, which you don't, you had.
Oh, so give it to,
If we can take adverse possession first, that we would just give the land to a developer. If they would tear it down and build something on it.
within a certain.
See,
a certain
that's
amount of
putting
time.
us into, we're not in the real estate business.
Well, we're gonna be, if we tear it down and take adverse possession, we're
Well,
gonna be. in it
if
one
we
way or
get
the
a
other.
grant and if we get permission from the owners, which they will give it.
But at least if we go with that idea, we're not out the cost of the demolition.
We've already got liens against it, so we can't really give it away.
Nobody's gonna take possession with liens and stuff on it. Nobody's gonna want
Mhm.
that property. Why would you want that? And have to pay all those back liens and everything. It's like when you go to sell a house, there's a lien on your house.
Well, that would be the point. We
So
would
is the
eliminate,
supposed
we
to
would
just
waive
keep
the
those liens?
liens.
Like the county would have the first shot at it, and we'd have the second shot.
With the idea that they take it and they do something with it. That's-
Yeah, and that's possible because we've had individuals approach the county to see if they would abate or waive the property taxes, let's say on the glove factory. And the county held, no, we're not gonna waive
No,
that.
they're not
They
gonna-
won't do it.
And,
Won't do it.
the only way, if we abate property from taxes, we'd have to get the county on board, and that's one of the reasons why we have our 353 corporation to abate taxes and for redevelopment and investment. The only issue with that is you just have to have investors willing to do that and invest into doing that. And I think we'll work with anyone on any of these properties if they're willing to do that. We got the old funeral home, we got glove factory. We got several buildings in town that we could probably, work with anyone to do that, but they gotta have the money and willingness to do that.
Any developers that are, or builders that are looking for property to build.
Not right now, not down here. I mean, they're going crazy in Bowling Green with it.
So Gertha Hodges, we'll go ahead and start that process.
I think it's a good idea.
We got a comparison pricing and we got one contractor that gave us $2,500 to tear down, not including the dumpster fees. And we would just take on the dumpster fees. So probably for the Gertha Hodges building, I'm gonna guess it'd probably be close to $8,000 by the time we're done with it.
On the South Carolina property.
Yes,
Who owns that property right next to it where the
Uh,
house burned?
Louis, Louis
Oh,
Houston.
does Louis own that?
Yeah, Louis
From
Houston.
Ellsbury?
Yeah,
Okay.
So I mean, that house has been burnt out for 2 years.
Yeah.
Sitting vacant.
and it's
So
being,
way out of Berry House.
Yes.
it's being worked on now.
Windows are broke out of the house now.
Well, that did that on night of the fire.
Tim, how many properties do we actually have that are in this chain?
We probably got about 10
Okay. So I'm
properties.
just sitting here adding up numbers in my
Mhm.
head. You know, 10 properties is 10 grand on
Mhm.
average. I mean, and this is
Mhm.
another 100,000.
Yeah,
That's why we need a grant.
Yeah,
Grant.
and again, those grants are highly competitive. And
You
you can't
haven't,
count
even-
on it all. the
you
time.
haven't even touched the most expensive one,
Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
and we're not gonna mention it.
All right, so the Ice House property, we've already talked about it. I'm gonna get a price for just knocking it down. And for us to do this is just to phase it. You know, we have to, one bite at a time. We just can't swallow it all right
Did
now.
we have somebody that wanted the actual steel building behind it?
Yeah, we did have someone, had a farmer that looked at it and they backed out of it.
Would he still take the brick if we was to tear it down?
Oh, so, as far as paying for it or taking it?
No, he just taking it.
No, we can, yeah, we got one person now that will take all the brick that we can. They're using it for fill.
Yeah, down here. I know we wanted some of it down south. side.
Yeah, so if they, yeah. And it's not the same individual, but
Oh, it's not sure.
but- yeah, but we would, anyone that would take it, the closer to us, the better, because quicker turnaround.
and again, my brain is kind of, on the Ice House, we're talking 108,000.
Yeah, that's putting it back and seeding it in the grass and
Okay,
making, I mean, that's
That's
taking,
total
that's taking out,
demolition.
that's taking out the foundation, taking out the weight scales that's in the street. And
Okay.
that's, doing all of it.
Okay.
I think trying to do part of that ourselves is the better plan.
So, the next item, the cemetery building is coming down. It's down, of course. The dumpster that's there now needs to be, got too much, block in it. We gotta concrete it. We gotta empty some of it because of the weight. And the rest of it that's on the ground, we're loading it up and hauling it. So hopefully within a week or definitely within 2 weeks. They'll all be backfilled and seeded and grassed until we work on the next phase.
People tell me, really complimenting the cemetery and how it looks and how it's kept and about taking the building down and getting it.
Yeah.
Where presentable
Right,
and not leaving it.
yep. So, hopefully we'll have that all leveled and seeded and grassed by. Always the perfect time of year to seed it, so. Next item, I'm gonna jump around a little bit. Is, on the side, the water treatment scrapers, both basins are up and running, have been cleaned out. And then the secondary, sediment, basin has been emptied and cleaned. So that's operating smoothly. We do have a plan to drain the water intake well at the riverfront and clean all the sludge out of that. It's last been done about 4 or 5 years ago, is what I've been told. So it's probably one of those things that probably should be done annually.
Yeah,
Probably one of the reasons why our basins accumulate so much sediment and stuff. We just need to,
It
We-
pays to do that
yeah.
yearly.
So with the project manager, with Rufus being our project manager, he's coming up with a PM cycle on all of our processes at the water plant and wastewater plant.
that's gonna save us a boatload of money down the road.
Yeah. So, we're looking probably the first week in, October to do that is, when they're gonna do that on the riverfront. The wastewater auger update, still waiting for the part to come over from Germany, so. However, there are some issues
They're
that,
bringing the land route. right?
yeah. Well, yeah, they're waiting for the ice cap to freeze over so they can come over. But they, point out a few items around the wastewater, plant. The tanks that are around that, they poured concrete next to the, walls. And because of the flooding situation and all that, they call it I&I. It's everything but sewer that comes into that plant. Stormwater leaks in the system. It overflows. Whenever we flood, it'll overflow and it over. So the concrete sidewalks around it are all settling, tilted, and one of the things that we're looking at is where they ran conduit for electric through the sidewalk. That's causing our conduit to separate for our electric around that. It's not, none of it's tremendously significant. But versus one of the things that we're looking at doing is taking up those sidewalks altogether and just putting attaching walk planks, metal walk planks on the outside edge, so they can just walk around the edge of the tanks. We're looking at that versus, digging it up and putting more foundation gravel down and putting new sidewalks in. We're looking at some options on that.
On the water treatment plant, how are we on budget on that? Are we?
As far as so Miko is working on, they got the bid to go through a cost analysis for all our issues at the water plant that we identified. So we're spending $7,500 for that. And they are supposed to have us, the council, that information by the end of this month. And then we can start prioritizing, which we already know what our priorities are. Then we can start prioritizing and they'll work through the bid process and manage that project for us with our project manager. So there's a lot more work than $300,000 that's needed. Because the next item I'm going to tell you about, we got notice that our THMs were elevated. And they were elevated. And so just kind of put it in perspective, most communities that's along the river like we are, we have issues, THMs, and they're byproducts of chloroforms, and the more chlorine put in, the more of a problem that we would have. And we have issues when we store it in our water tanks, if it's extremely hot outside, there's always a potential of the water tank to blossom with an algae outbreak. None of that has happened, but our THMs are elevated. So our team met the past 2 weeks, each week, and we came up with probably a half a dozen things that we need to do to help improve our THM levels. So one of the first things that we did is we went back to putting our tanks at half capacity. When Brian first came in as city administrator, he wanted the tanks full. Well, when you had the tanks full, they sit there longer, stagnant. So we're going back to, we dropped our levels so we can cycle the water through a little bit more. And without starting and stopping our pumps as often, hopefully. Well, once it's full, we stop pumping for quite a while, so now we just want to get on a more regular cycle. So that's one way we can fight THMs. Another way is to put an aerator in the tanks, because you have to force the THMs to off gas and get out of there so you can aerate it and bubble it, or you can put a mixer in there to kind of keep on stirring that. Another way is our storage tanks are fed from our water plant. They are fed and discharged through the same pipe, if that makes any sense to you. So the water that comes into the bottom and feeds from the bottom. All right, so any water you know, if the pump stop pumping, then the gravity feed disperses the water throughout the town, maintains that head pressure and does that. So one way is to separate that and provide water intake coming in to the bottom instead of just feeding it from the bottom, bringing it up through the center and fill from the top, and then have a separate discharge on the side.
That way.
Yeah, it'll naturally aerate. And we just have to have some engineering looking at it. What mechanisms we need, like check valves and what else we need to do to tie it back into our system. So with that, we need both of our facilities, we need to make sure we have proper electrical connections, you know, with Ameren. So we can power the mixers or the aerator systems. And then we need an engineering to come in and look at what it'll take to come in and make it fill
Top
from the
feed.
top versus, you know, bottom feeding. So that's another thing that we can do. And so I just listed like four or five things. And there's a couple other more. We can put more chlorine in our system, but that's gonna cause us more problems. We are looking at putting some permanganate feeding into our system. It's not really used for disinfection. It's more of a color and odor type of a deal. For the past 2 years, we have not been feeding that. 2 or 3 years or longer, we have not been feeding that into that system. So that's one of the things that we identified. Well, we're authorized to do it, and that's part of our process. So we need to make sure that we do that. And there's big ticket items that would help us. Oh, if we was able to loop our systems a little bit better instead of some greens, you know, that would help us out quite a bit too. So,
Yeah, I think this really has to be a priority. I mean, you
Mhm.
know, this is what the city's supposed to do, is give us safe drinking water. And, you know, we're trying to hold it together with baling wire and bubble gum. And, you know, like some of that money came from the tower and stuff, I think should be dedicated to get this water system right, because, you know, you can't keep having this.
we even discussed doing a closed circuit system between our wastewater plant and our water plant. There's other cities that do that. You know, so that's something that might be a big ticket item though, if we had to do that. Or if we went that route. But it's being looked at, worked on, and our team, the project manager asked me, so well, which ones should we prioritize? I said, well, I'll tell you how to prioritize. I said, the low hanging fruit that's quick and easy that we can afford and do right now, let's do it. If we can do it, let's do it. We can put in aerators right now. We call Ameren, get the power put up there. Let's get the aeration system in the tanks. And another thing is to,
What kind of cost are we talking about there?
probably up to $30,000. There's probably, you know, probably up to $30,000. And then the other thing is to flush our water system more often, especially on our dead end mains. So we could be doing that twice a year. Up until last year, we haven't flushed hydrants for like 2 or 3 years.
God.
Now excuse me, they may have done some dead end flushing before they did their THM testings. But to me, that's not proper. You're just trying to
You're trying to cover
hedge.
your butt.
You're trying to hedge the books. We don't want to do that. We want to do what's right, what we're supposed to be doing, and do it consistently and document it and not lose face on it. So the scrapers being cleaned, the stuff being PM'd, getting rid of that sediment, you know, on a regular basis. All these things is what it takes to keep our water system going good.
Yeah, I just think this has to be the number one
Mhm.
priority right now, is getting this water system squared away, because
So with
it's
that.
gonna get worse.
So with that, they call an OEL report. So we submitted an OEL report. This is our plan. This is what our process is. And we've submitted it before years ago, and we just need to follow through and do it.
Yeah, we
So-
gotta do that.
So, we got another letter from, DNR, because, June's reports, our lab result reports, they didn't receive it by June 10th. And so, I looked into it and I jumped to conclusions and come to find out is, the reports were done and they were mailed. But they did not receive it. In fact,
Doesn't shock me.
but in fact, it was postmarked the 15th and it was sent out before the 10th. So, I'm working with, the DNR, chief guy to work on that issue. Because whenever we do our reports, we have to submit it in a PDF file. And each one of those are time stamped whenever we create the file. And so I just have to explain to them our postal service is not the most reliable way, and we're not gonna do postal service anymore unless it's certified mail. We can do it by fax or we can do it by email, so we can do it anyway but regular mail.
Is there any way to make a complaint somewhere about the postal? Because it does seem to
Good
be,
luck.
I mean, it does seem to be a right. Lewis has a real problem
They
down
never
there.
really.
Sometimes it's good, and other times it's horrible.
I've had, within the last 3 months, I've had 2 or 3 credit card bills that never got there.
Yeah.
And I can show in my checkbook when I paid them, because I also marked down the date that I'm planning on sending
Welcome.
it.
The mule died.
So the only other thing we got with is water, is our water office update. I'm gonna tell you right now. We got some superstars in our water office right now.
They're doing a good job.
They're doing really,
Yeah.
they're doing really good and they're getting up to speed and, even our clerk and treasurer's been very helpful with this transition in our water office and dealing with the customers. It's good to see. It's good to see you got competent people in place and getting things done.
Friendly.
Yeah, friendly. And they are enjoying.
Yeah.
They are enjoying their coworkers.
They are.
So it's going positive. With that being said, the license office, Erica Buchanan had turned in her resignation. And she took another position elsewhere. And so Alicia Blackwell is over the license office right now. And I gotta give credit due where credit deserved. She's taking it and running with it. So I'm not aware of any red flags popping up. And if there are, it's being resolved pretty quickly. So I'm happy to see that too. Jump around a little bit. The animal shelter, Gene's doing good out there,
Yes, he is.
Chief's doing good with it, and they got free flow plumbing going there. And they've been having issues, we've been having issues for the last 2 or 3 years, probably years, but with the drainage of the sewer drains. And so they went in, busted it all out, put in new sewer pipe and stuff. And the state lady came in and inspected from the Department of Agriculture. And this is twice in a row, pass inspection and flying colors. And according to Gene, that she's pretty happy with the progress that's been made out there at the animal shelter. So
Yeah.
Gene.
Especially the new drainage,
what's that?
especially the new drainage.
Yeah,
Happy to see.
And I became aware of a situation here a couple weeks ago where there was a situation and the animal people handled it really well. And it's one of those deals where you have a rule book, but there's 25 versions of it, and they were able to work some things out, and I think it's gonna work out really well, and I just wanna commend the animal people for handling that in a really upright and professional manner, because they catch a lot of flack. And, criticize when it's due, but give them credit when credit is due. They did a good job on that one situation.
good deal. All right, go to the street department. I don't know if any of y'all gone around, go ahead,
Before you pass, how are we doing on leachate sales?
doing good.
On the
We're
what?
leachate.
Oh, okay.
Leachate sales, so, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but, yeah, Clinton, do you have an idea of what we're looking at monthly?
Are you able to hear me right now?
Yeah,
Do you want a money figure or a load amount?
yeah, just give us a dollar amount.
Last month they hauled like right at $53,000 worth.
Okay. So there's,
Considering what we've got going on in these water.
Yeah.
That may be our solution to being able to fix all the water things.
yeah, it's not gonna hurt, that's for sure. So anyway, so yeah, the leachate, we're moving along with that. With that being said, I'm gonna go back to that. Clinton, you wanna talk about the smoking of the sewers that we're gonna be doing this week?
Yeah, so Thursday, so one of the biggest issues we currently have right now with the wastewater is when the floods, when the water comes up, we're taking in a lot of I, and that's what's causing the wastewater plant to overflow. Well, it's contributing, it's a big issue. So one of the things that we are going to do is we're gonna do our smoke testing on our sewer mains. And what this does is it'll allow us to be able to see if there's any cracks, uncapped lines, or breached utility holes, or anything that's wrong with our sewer mains and sewer laterals connecting to the residential or commercial properties or anything like that. I'm gonna get with the city clerk tomorrow. We're gonna put a thing on Facebook, and we also are gonna let the radio station know, because when we go to do this, it is going to push smoke. If people don't have traps on their homes and things like that, it's going to push smoke into people's houses, and it potentially do that. And what this does is it's going to also kind of help them out at the same time, because it is required that they have traps on their sewer services and stuff. And if they're getting smoke into their homes, they're getting sewer gases into their homes too. So it's really going to be beneficial for us all the way around, but it's gonna help us try to figure out where our issues lie with the I issues we're fighting every time it floods. That's the main purpose behind it. We're going to start on the south side of town, and the statement we're going to kind of release to the public and get so they're aware of the situation. We're going to start on the south side of town, but it could extend further than that. We really have no control over how far the smoke will travel once it's inserted into those manholes into that sewer system. So if anybody calls or is aware, or what sees what's going on, that's kind of the issue, and that's what we're doing, and that's going to be Thursday and Friday.
Anyone got any?
When are you planning on running the radio spot?
Sorry, I had a hard time. What was that?
Radio spots, when are you looking at doing those PSAs?
So we'll make contact with KJFM tomorrow and have them just run it as much as they can to alert the community as to what's going on, so they're aware of the situation.
Okay. All right. So everyone know what I is, right? It's just, it's anything but sewer that's going into that system, rainwater, surface water, or river water. Okay. Street department. I don't know if anyone's been out there to look and see any of that work that's been done, but they salvaged the door off the old cemetery building and replaced that rotten wood frame and everything on the backside, and put the garage door there, and put new sheet metal up, frame that all in on the backside. So they're compared to 2 years ago, that whole area out there has been improved. And one of the things that they're looking at doing is going ahead and putting some T-post up and running some cable. Just, we got people driving around still going back there. And we got a gate up and it says no unauthorized personnel after hours, especially, So they're looking at go ahead and putting up the T-post and putting a cable up there just to prevent people from going in back there.
They've really cleaned that up out there. It does look good. And not just the buildings, but the equipment and everything looks good.
With that, the bucket truck is back and it's in service. So final rough cost for purchasing it and getting it up to snuff was about $10,000. You know, but with it being back, every single one of our historical lights now that we had issues with is operational. They've been working their butts off, going around, getting the historical lights back in order and working on it. So, so they've done, they've done, yeah, they've done real good on that. So, am I missing anything on the historical lighting, Clinton?
No, I think you covered all of that.
The riverfront update, the river's down, we're at the, flood, or we're at a normal stage of 12 foot. Spoke with, the contractor today, probably be looking at it in a couple weeks before he can pick back up on that. We do have a new gate, that's coming to kind of block off that south entrance going south. And, Clinton and his guys has the guardrails to put up, you know, across that way and the side, so it's gonna block that off. You can put a sign up that it's only authorized vehicles beyond this point. It won't prevent anyone from taking their dogs and walking their dogs or anything over there, but it just eliminates personal vehicles going back beyond that point.
Yeah, they wanna walk their dog back there, go for it.
Yeah, yeah. Miko, we got the survey back for the north property, which is between Georgia Street and the boathouse. We got the survey back on that and the legal description. Still holding up. They're wanting some index map from the Corps of Engineers for the south parcel. And once we have both those legal descriptions done, then we'll pursue quieting the title with the Pike County Courthouse on the property and the railroad on that. Wallace Park, the ground crews, been out there and replaced all the parking bumpers, you know, all the wood blocks, and got the new blocks in there. And then the street department guys, they've been out there and they've been working on the drainage ditch, cleaning that all up and redoing that out there. And I also got a list, if anyone wants to, I'm not gonna read through this, but I gotta give Clinton some credit here, but for every single week, he has a job list for all of his guys, you know, and anyone wants to look at this, this is kind of like what they do during the week and what projects they take on and what they accomplish, and there's quite a bit there. And I may start sharing that with y'all just so you can see it, eyes on it.
I
So,
think Clinton's doing an outstanding job in this position.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
kicking
I
butt
do
and taking
too.
names.
That's the way you're supposed to do it.
That's right.
the tower lease is signed. I signed it and it was mailed back, Friday, so everything's official on that. So now we're just waiting for a check in hand. And then also with that, I spoke to a citizen about the tower lights up there. So our tower that we just turned over and leased over, the lights are working on it. I've watched it. The two lower lights and the red upper light, the US Cellular tower, their light's not on. But that's not a city responsibility. That's up to US Cellular to take care of their tower.
Do they realize?
Have we notified us?
We have not, we have not. So we can reach out to them, and I told the
Reach
citizen,
out.
I told the citizen too, I said, you know, even if we want to contact whether it's the FCC or the FAA, but we'll reach out. And we do have a point of contact for the tower lease for the property they lease. So I'll let, in fact, excuse me, I'm gonna stand corrected. When I was speaking with them during this, I advised them that their lights were out, but it's not in writing. So I wouldn't take it as official, but I'll get their information and we'll send them a letter, make it official.
I mean, safety wise, it should be okay because the towers are so close together. As long as one of them has a light on it. Most planes are going to be above that,
Yep.
but still.
Our 2023 audit report, I emailed the council that draft copy of it. I'm hoping that at our next regular council meeting that they will be here to present the final draft on that.
That's the little audit.
Yeah. The state audit,
Big.
right, yeah, the big audit, they are, they're still working through their processes. We haven't got any new questions this past week, so we're just, one of the auditors said that their part of it, and the bookkeeping side of it is done. Now it's probably gonna be up to, I just be assuming, I don't, up to the attorneys to look at it, maybe, let's, or whoever, the
They're
auditor.
gonna go through with.
They're gonna go through it and see if there's anything that, to get their final report.
I'll be
ready
shocked
for
if
us.
it's done by the end of the year.
Yeah. Fire department updates, just a little bit update. They got both their pumpers tested and they both passed the flying colors. When's the last time any of our pumpers ever been pump tested?
So the one that we bought in 2019, when we bought that, it came with a pump certification, and that was the last time it was pump tested. And then the one that we had, we've always had, it was pump tested last year, but they both passed. We had to do a lot of work to the one that we bought in 19. We had to do a lot of gauges, and we replaced all the gauges, a primer pump, motor, solenoids, things like that to prepare for this. We actually had kind of planned on having it tested in October, but the guy that was doing it was ahead of schedule and had a nice day. So we just kind of got it together and he came and it passed. So that was very big for us and we're happy with that.
And I gotta give the personnel on the fire department credit because they're the ones that made sure that truck was ready to go. I mean, if they needed someone, some expertise, they got someone with expertise to work on it, you know what I'm saying? So, they're stretching their money. Right, now the bad part of this is, we did have an accident. At one of the fire trucks, the door was left up, backed into the garage door. Didn't damage the door, but damaged the door on the pumper and damaged the body on the pumper. So we turned in a claim to the insurance company for that. So one of the things I mentioned with Clinton and he agreed to, is we've always had a policy to have a spotter and to check your truck and everything else. So we're adding to that policy that, the driver and the spotter will be equally responsible if something's damaged during a backing incident. And if something is damaged during a backing incident because of negligence, then both of them be suspended for a year outright. Now, if someone drives and backs up the truck and damages the vehicle without a spotter, then they're probably released indefinitely. Because, I mean, we gotta drive home a different culture when we're backing in apparatus. I know departments where fatalities have occurred from backing incidents. So the problem is these doors, they swing up and they swing out. A lot of the newer trucks and a lot of the departments have done away with those type of doors and just do roll-ups, but that's just something that we gotta work through on that, but that's gonna be, we haven't got any estimates back yet, what's gonna take, but that pumper will be out of service for that time that's being repaired. So. Sidewalks, speaking to the council previously about, the CDBG grants and so forth, and we didn't get that $200,000 grant, but I was wanting to ask the council what their thoughts are, is taking a block at a time, even if it's a half a block at a time from the north side of Georgia Street, tearing out the sidewalk and putting in a new sidewalk. This first block would be right there between Dairy Queen and, well, not Dairy Queen, but be the building next to Dairy Queen and in the corner of Seventh Street, that small section right there. Taking it up and putting concrete back.
And then continuing heading west.
Yeah, we'll just work our way, and we'll, if there's a good stretch of sidewalk, we won't dig it up and replace it. But if it's obviously we got more grass than there is concrete.
There's about 7 bad sections.
Yeah. So, we have sidewalk grants funds that we typically have utilized. And the citizens and commercial properties can utilize those funds. There's been interest this year in that, but there's been no follow through with anyone wanting to obtain those funds yet. And I'm sure there is. But I'm thinking if the council don't have a problem with it, we'll get a cost estimate and we'll tear the street or the sidewalk up and then maybe form it, or maybe have a contractor, give us a price to form it and pour it. And we'll work just a little bit at a time is better than going years without nothing.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's
about all
Block
you
at
can.
a time.
Yeah.
That's about all you can, cause
Yeah.
there's.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
In front of some of those historic houses on Georgia Street, I can't tell you the number of times I've almost busted my butt tripping on uneven side. It's a liability
Right.
situation. We can do a little bit at a time, better to do a little bit than try to bite it all off at once. Go for it.
At least it shows that we're trying.
Right.
So we'll probably be starting right down here between 7th and 8th Street, working on that section there. Library update, we put out ads for the library for librarians, part-time librarians. So once we get resumes and applications, we'll turn it over and work with the library to go through that process of getting someone hired.
Are they? Where are they in terms of, what are their hours that they're currently looking for?
Well, what they're wanting to do is someone that will cover, Fridays and Mondays and Fridays. They're looking at 16 hours a week. So, with that being said, we may have to see what the applicants that we get and what they're willing to work, or look at someone full-time yet, but they've already given notice to the other 2 librarians about lowering their hours and spreading it out so they can actually, someone's got to work another day or work it out some way. That's kind of what they've kind of explained to me, but I haven't seen nothing yet. So they gave us that job description a week or 2 ago, and we finally got it in the paper and stuff. So we'll go through it.
The library board just do it. I mean, it's a good faith thing,
Oh, yeah.
Gone through all this. We don't need to be involved in interviewing the applicants and all that other stuff.
Well, the only bad thing about that is there's a lot more to the story than that, but it's just as far as all we gotta do is make sure we check the boxes correctly.
Right.
So, the last thing I have, and I don't have the policy in front of me. I do have a draft policy that I'm wanting to share with the council, and I'll probably email it to you soon, probably this week. Dealing with continuing education. We do have a policy in our handbooks for continuing education, for certifications and so forth like that, with wastewater and CDLs and all this other stuff. But in the past, years ago, the city has paid for college credit hours. And so I'm working on a policy to give our employees the benefit of getting college credit hours paid for. And right now, what I'm looking at is someone, that's been with the city 5 to 6 years at a minimum, that's in a lead position, across the board, and that's, that we, they want to continue their education and invest their time here, and us invest our time and money into them to go ahead and pursue a degree, whether it's an associate's degree, or if it's a project management certification, or even if it's a bachelor's degree. But the process of doing it is if they got to apply for it. And then the council would have to go through the application and make an agreement with an employee. And up to so many years, they're on the hook if they left employment with us, on a pro ratio,
Prorated.
prorated, I know I can spit it out, but anyway, they'd be on the hook for us for a little bit, not unlike what we do with the officers going to the academy and so forth. So one thought process was, if they leave within 2 years, they pay back 75%. They leave within 3 to 4 years, they pay back 50%, and and then so forth, and then eventually it just fades away. So I just wanted to see just me spitting it out there like that, what's your initial gut thoughts on that? Because there's two things. I don't see everyone jumping up to do it. I mean, it takes some dedication to do that, and working full-time here, and especially if you have a family and other interests, it's not everyone's gonna do it, but I imagine we have a few that will.
I think it's a great incentive. I think it's a great incentive.
So,
Cause the best thing is just discussing it with them and see how far they wanna go, but they gotta understand that if they do it, they're liable to the city.
Yeah.
That's right.
well, one of my thoughts processes of doing this, we did this in the past. And we've had people, become our city administrator, been going through this type of a program. And really, I think it's a good program because we're home growing our leaders here.
Right.
Instead of relying on someone coming in that don't know, how everything is working, or who's who and what's what, and how to make everything meld and work cohesively. And if those individuals are interested, I say we ought to,
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea.
It develops the professionalism of the city staff, and that I think is key. I mean, everybody hears all the time, oh, there's water department, whether it's true or not, oh, they're just dumping bags down there, and all those rumors get flying around. And it just gives them a degree of professionalism that not only makes them feel better about their job, but it also attracts other people.
yeah.
The question I have with it is, I mean, it definitely adds another layer of responsibility of how much they can do, if they're working during the day, family responsibilities, and then try to go to school at night or whatever.
That's their responsibility. though.
Yeah.
See,
But, and that's, you want them to be able to do that. I'm just wondering, is there any way that the city can entice any of the local colleges to try to do a satellite office in Louisiana?
Right.
It would make things a lot easier, not only for this program, most in town that wanted to go back to school, and they just, that extra hour drive, whether it's to Quincy or whether it's to Hannibal or whether it's to Troy or in St. Charles, that extra hour and a half each way can really make it difficult to do it. It's the time factor.
So the thing about that, I don't disagree with you, as far as that satellite and being a service to the community. But like for an associate's degree, about 90% of that can be done online.
It's all done online.
It can be done online. But I'm sure, That, I mean, it's a good idea.
And it would also help just our general workforce to have that as an incentive that, hey,
Mhm.
you don't have to spend 2 hours on the road, every time you go to class. And yet, I know that online, but there's still an awful lot of stuff that would be better if you could do it actually in a classroom.
Yeah.
Learn better.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, we got space here. I mean, it's not gobs of space, but I'd love to see a testing center or some sort of a satellite deal, but
You got all kinds of empty
Like,
buildings around here.
I think one side how we're gonna go, we could involve the sheriff's office, Bowling Green and ourselves and the school.
yeah,
The teachers are always working on, additional credits and, all that could be brought in.
I mean, whether that satellite, is whatever colleges, I'm not sure. I mean, Hannibal was ranked, but the guy that bought the house that overlooks the Mississippi River right there by the bridge, wasn't he a
He's the
president?
president of Quincy College.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is-
yeah.
get
Quincy
away.
College. So is there any chance that since he has a connection here already, that would they, but since that's in
Well, that had
Illinois.
to be a
would that
very
problem?
expensive school too. I mean, there's a lot, there's Culver Stockton up at LaGrange,
Hannibal.
and
so,
Yeah.
so here's the point on this discussion, we're taking, potential benefit for our employees and blossomed out to bigger ideas and stuff, which is, they're good, but now right now, I'm kind of focused on what we can do with our employees, but not to discredit that. It'd be nice if we can tie in someone to come into here. I'm really surprised John Wood or Moberly College or someone has it tied in something here anyway. But that'd be a collaborative effort with the school system and with all Pike County, I would say that we.
It's all part of economic development.
Yeah. So.
I don't have any problem with the idea. I think the idea is good. I'm just wondering if there's, like I said.
Yeah.
To kind of expand that to make it. Our workforce itself needs help.
Yes, it does.
I mean, that, the campus is down the road, like,
Mhm.
I've got a son-in-law that, 8 hours out of his work week, he sits and works on certificates online for his technology, IT and all this other stuff. And, schools are just making that shift. It's more cost effective for them. They get more student outreach. Yeah, it'd be great to have something here, but that is so far down the road that it's not even funny.
All right, before we get to the taxes, I want to go through, make sure the council, anything streets or distribution, any questions?
I've got
Concern.
nothing on
Okay.
economic development. I'm working on
Infrastructure,
some
ground,
stuff.
streets, sidewalks, I mean, okay,
This is kind of going back to some of the things we've already talked about, but. We have so many buildings that have real issues. The people buy them and then they just. Why they bought them, I have no idea if they're gonna let them just sit there and rot. As a city, can we start a program that. If we notice a building and we give them notice that from this day on, we're timing you. We need to see some improvements on this property, such as broken windows fixed or. Roof repair that's obvious, or. That, you have 3 months, and if you don't do it in 3 months, we're gonna start ticketing you on a weekly basis.
so, I'm glad you kind of brought this up because we've been kind of working on this with our building inspector and code enforcement. There's an online tracker now. In fact, I don't see why we can't. If you got an email, we can give you access to that. It's a view only. So any of our properties that we have identified, whether it's grass, whether it's a roof or condemned building or anything, it's listed on there and it gives you the current status and what the next step is. So our biggest problem is organization, remembering what we're supposed to be doing and when we're supposed to do it. And because we got so much that's thrown at just 1 or 2 people, it's kind of hard to juggle everything and we lose fact of it. Like Bertha Hodges, it's been over 4 years or 5 years, and we just lose fact of it. To your point, we're trying to get our internal workings smooth. And one of the thoughts is just like what you said, is that we would send an inspector once a month. If we got a bad property, there's other cities that has ordinances that require a monthly inspection.
So in other words,
Because it's a potentially dangerous building. But that's just gonna stack up against, liens on the property, but it's not gonna solve the issue.
but at some point in time, the person who owns that building is gonna say, I've got liens that are $10,000 worth of liens on a building that's worth maybe $25,000 at this point. And they're gonna say, I either gotta fix it, or I'm gonna sell it, or do, get rid of it somehow or other.
Yeah, see, our biggest thing is people are walking away from it, just walking away from it. They don't even care. You can come inspect it and find me and everything else. There's, we
Moved
can,
to Hawaii.
we can take them to court and get a judgment, and they won't pay their judgment. And it's, then eventually we can do an adverse possession, but really, we can't afford to take on certain properties. Just because of the cost. But it's definitely, because that is talked about. Fred Lasfer and Janine Kelly and different ones. We met last week over here at the restaurant across the street here, and talking about different type of incentives.
Right.
For tax credits and things of that nature. And the biggest thing with all that even is they require someone willing to make an investment.
Making the investment and the amount of paperwork. The more I listen, I was there too, listening to Fred, and it was like, oh yeah, I'm trying to do this building and I'm not supposed to spend probably about 10 hours a week on paperwork. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's,
Not gonna do it.
I mean, it's a tough it
It's
is.
a circular,
It's a tough
circular
issue.
firing squad.
Yeah.
What it is, and the people aren't gonna invest here until there's a reason to invest here.
But we,
And it just keeps going down, so we have to reverse the trend.
Well, inciting them, go
Yeah.
to municipal court and they allow them to just take their $100 fine and go on.
I had a guy
Yeah.
stop me down here
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, he's working on the front of his building, he said, I'll do the minimum I have to do to keep the city off my butt.
but that's
He's
the
putting a
point. If
fork in his building.
if we do it where it's like on a weekly or monthly basis, we just keep finding them. Maybe there are people who actually live here. And then the other thing is newspaper ads. If we put an ad in the paper that says, these are the following people that owe money because they haven't kept their properties up.
Can't do that.
We can't do that?
Can't do that.
Why not?
But you got a court judgment. You can't do that. You get sued.
Why can't we do that? If they owe money because of the fact that they haven't kept the property up, why can't we list who owes money?
A game seat.
Here's,
Yeah.
it's in our ordinance right now. If anyone's indebted to the city, we are not supposed to make or do a contract with anyone that owes the city money. So it means if you want business license, US money, you're not gonna get it. You want water service and US money, you're not gonna get it. If you know what I'm saying? So,
right.
that's already in place, like that. And we got a lot of people squatting because of it, so. I'm gonna move on if that's because, this tax deal. I want to give you all the information. Here's the ordinance. The draft ordinance.
Which one?
The-
Okay.
Yeah, bill number 7225.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So, 2 years ago, the council wanted to go with the recommended, tax increase. And there was a lot of confusion at that time, and I vetoed the tax increase 2 years ago. I'm gonna try to explain this the best I can because of, the Hancock Amendment passed. several years ago. We are authorized not to exceed the rate of $1 to $100 of assessed values. And there's only so much that we can do per year without violating the Hancock Amendment. So the county clerk and the state auditor, the counties, they take the assessed valuations from the previous year to the current year, and they calculate the difference in the revenues. How much, if the revenues go up, that means our tax rate probably should come down to maintain that balance of revenue. But if the assessed valuation goes down, the tax rate can go up to maintain that level of revenue.
They really handcuff us is what they
Yeah.
did.
So now we have voluntarily, over the last 20 years, never taken an increase. We've always, if we had an opportunity for an increase, we took the reduction instead. So if you're reading through this, I'm gonna read this. So whereas Article 10, Section 11B of the Missouri Constitution and Section 94.060 RSMO authorize the city of Louisiana to levy and impose for municipal purposes upon all subjects and objects of taxation a tax which shall not exceed the rate of $1 or $100 assessed valuation. And so we don't do that. Whereas the city is also authorized by law to levy and impose a tax for the support of the library at a rate of 10 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. Whereas each year the city council must set the property tax rates for the city of Louisiana in accordance with applicable law and in reliance on data provided by the state auditor and county clerk. And whereas the state auditor has determined, based on changes in the city's assessed valuations of real and personal property, an increase in the consumer price index of 3.4%, the maximum authorized tax levy rate amounts to 0.9552, of which 0.8499 is for general revenue funds and 0.1053 for the library funds. Now, whereas the city council and mayor have determined that it is prudent to continued voluntary reduction in the allowed rate to 77.47%. That's based off 2 years ago. That rate, because 2 years ago we took the reduction. We can't take the full amount that is authorized this year because we voluntarily took the reduction 2 years ago. But today we can take that amount that
What,
we.
8499?
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're authorized to go to 0.7747 in line with the previous year's authorizations. Whereas on August 26th, if we vote on this, and the city council held a public hearing, that's when we're doing it at 5:30. After due notice of said meeting, all as required by law. So the section 1 is the tax levy. So a total tax levy of 0.8747 on the $100 evaluation shall be assessed on all real property and all personal property within the corporate limits of the city of Louisiana, Missouri. For the taxable year of 2024, this total levy shall consist of 0.7747 on the $100 evaluation for general revenue funds and a levy of 0.10 on $100 valuation for the library funds. So there's 3 questions I want to try to answer here. The state auditor says the library funds, when the tax was imposed, it is set at 0.10. It can't go up or down. It's 0.10 no matter what.
Okay.
It has to go to the vote of the people. Now, in previous years, it's been stated that the city had set a maximum limit to the person or to our real estate taxes of 0.83 or 0.73. The state auditor says that's not the case. I mean, it's not the case. The only thing that they saw that is fixed with voter approval is the 0.10. And they said this because the Hancock Amendment, state constitution overrides this. So all the numbers that came from the county clerk and came from the Missouri State Auditor. So that's what this is how they calculated it. And then the last stack that I gave you are certification letters from the state auditor for every year. And you can go back and see which years that we were authorized to go up without a vote of the people, due to the Hancock Amendment, but we've always elected to maintain the 0.83 no matter what. So last year or 2 years ago, we had a cost index, increased cost of living, the cost index was 7%, and we still took the reduction.
It just seems arbitrarily
Yeah.
low that
Uh-huh.
they're pegging it at 3.4
Yeah.
given.
And then this year's 3.4, but they said we can't go for the full amount because we took those elected reductions previously. So that's why it's 0.7747. So.
We can't go above that 7.7.
No, not with a Hancock Amendment. If we go above that, we'd have to have a vote of the people
It
to
ain't
do
gonna
that.
pass.
But right now, the rate is 0.7359. So it is going to go up to
What is it again,
0.7747,
Tim? I'm sorry.
0.7359.
Okay. So how much additional revenue will the 77 generate?
Well, so here's the thing. Based on the assessed valuations, if we do that, our income's not gonna go up or down.
Because I saw the assessed valuation drop by like $3,000.
Yeah, well, 3 million.
3 million. That's what I meant.
And so it's not gonna be an increase in revenue for the city. It is, it is, but the total amount's not gonna be increased. It's just balanced it out. So it lets the city governments maintain, a constant revenue stream without going up and downs. It kind of balances it out. In years past, we've always just done, we took the voluntary reductions. So I want you all to be educated on it, and I'm sure the public will have a lot of input on this, which is rightfully so. The 0.77 versus 0.73, if you average that out,
It offsets.
if you average it out, if you take your property taxes and look at it now, figure the difference, it may not,
$5.
yeah, it's not all that. So, but I do want y'all to look at this because we have to pass the tax levy and have it to the county clerk by September the 1st.
The council does.
Yes.
Okay, we're not gonna put this up to the community. No.
Oh, yeah, so we got a public hearing. no,
there's no
vote.
For a vote.
No,
It'll never pass.
no.
Doesn't happen.
No, we are required to have a public hearing.
Yeah.
And
I think we go for the max we can get.
if anyone in the public has something that contradicts what the state auditors tells us, I'd be glad to see it.
No
I
kidding.
want to see it. And so that's what that whole stack of stuff is for.
Even if you raised it to the whole dollar, it's not gonna be that much. Wouldn't be that much.
Well, because the numbers are so, just in briefly looking at the numbers pretty much just offset themselves. It's crazy.
Any other items, for the committee?
Where do they get the assessment numbers?
The county assessor,
Yeah,
Wait.
when?
well, they reassess every 2 years. Yeah,
And that's for all properties.
Yeah, that's for
Or
all
is that just
real
properties?
properties, and then they base off whatever personal property taxes, that they pay.
But, so it's not just properties that have been bought or sold.
No, it's everyone every year pays their taxes.
You drive by,
Yeah,
you do a drive-by assessment.
We got a meeting at 5:30,
On
the council meeting.
yeah, that's a public notice. Public hearing.
We'll set our meeting at 4:45.
Okay, 4:45.
4:45.
Speaking of, I'm sure what you're talking about, it's for police. How are we doing on hiring?
We're sending one to the academy
I knew that.
and, right now, but, we will be with, if with the council approval, that if we get the, rate increase for the police, well, we should have more applicants coming.
I've got a few folks that are looking at it. For me.
They,
Hopefully we'll have some
they
more.
like the proposal.
All right, we need to close the work session and go into a special meeting.
Make a motion
So
to
moved.
close.
All in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right, we'll open the special meeting, call to order, roll call.
Councilwoman Porter. Here. Councilman Bell,
Present.
Councilman Giltner,
Present.
Councilman Sedar, Councilman Twitchell,
Here, yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Present.
Councilman Gott,
Here.
Councilman Price.
Present.
Entertain a motion to allow the council members and the city clerk into a closed session.
So
610.021 subsection 1 and 3.
Second.
Got first and second, any discussion? Take roll call, please.
Portis. Councilman Bell,
Yes.
Councilman Giltner,
Present. Yes.
Councilman Sedar, Councilman Twitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Aye.
Councilman Gott,
Here.
Councilman Price.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be in closed session.
Are we going to the?
Yeah, we'll go back there.
You gotta go in closed session, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. All righty, let's hit it. I gotta eat supper here sometime.
Get ready to go to school tomorrow.
If school starting tomorrow? Tomorrow, really?
Yep.
I'm sorry,
School starts tomorrow?
Holy.
I thought it was another week.
I did too.
Oh, that's what happens.
When we start thinking.
Oh. There we go.
Yeah, I've just kind of finished it for you.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay, we got 4:45, maybe you'll have some handful. But she's definitely from off here. Oh, okay. So do you know? Okay.
He's very experienced. He's got over 20 years of law enforcement experience. I've got one that. Okay, you're back from
The one we talked about. Okay.
Yep.
Did you tell them we'd be most interested?
Yep.
Okay,
Sure it is.
okay. Now, those that have a police, been through, do they have to go back to the academy?
No, but they've already got their coach license, they don't have to.
Okay, okay, good. Good. Now, he would, wouldn't he?
Which one?
The one, Moultrie, or would he? He came from California.
No, he shouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, he was previously certified here, so.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, that put us in good shape then. All right. All right. My patience is starting to run thin. Make a motion, we'll go back into the regular session.
Motion go back in open session. Everyone in favor say yay. Entertain a motion to read and resolution 2024.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Favor say yay.
Yay.
Opposed, like sign. Resolution 2024. A resolution of the city of Louisiana, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Zick Voss, Polite, Richardson, and Brinker PC for legal services. Whereas the city of Louisiana, Missouri, the city requires legal services to support its municipal functions, including but not limited to legal representation, drafting of resolutions and ordinances, and other legal matters related to municipal law. And whereas the law firm Zick, Voss, Polite, Richardson, and Binker PC, the firm located at 438 West Front Street, Washington, Missouri, 63090, has significant experience in municipal law and has provided a proposal to offer such services to the city. And whereas the firm has demonstrated its qualifications through its work with other municipalities and political subdivisions within the state of Missouri, and the city has determined that the firm's experience and expertise make it well suited to represent the city's legal interest. And whereas the firm has proposed to provide legal services at the following hourly rates: $3.25 for Kevin A. Richardson, $3.75 for Robert A. Zick, and Kurt A. Voss, $360 for David P. Polite. That don't Polite, and $300 for Sean D. Brinker, with billing to occur on a monthly basis. And whereas the city council of the city of Louisiana, Missouri finds it in the best interest of the city to enter into an agreement with the firm for the provisions of legal services. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of City Council of the city of Louisiana, Missouri as follows. Authorization to enter agreement. The mayor of the city of Louisiana, Missouri is hereby authorized and directed to enter into an agreement with Zick, Voss, Politi, and Richardson and Brinker PC for the provisions of legal services as outlined in the proposal submitted by the firm, a copy of which is attached as Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference. The terms and conditions, the agreement shall include the terms and conditions set forth in the proposal, including but not limited to the hourly rates for legal services, the scope of representation, and the billing procedures. Effective date, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by the mayor. Entertain a motion
So
to,
moved.
Can we discuss?
once we get a second. Second, all right, discussion.
Is there a way we can put a cap on this so that we get their opinion of what the success is, and we put a cap on?
Let's see what it is for.
What that part of the project is. I mean.
Yeah, so
$200 or $2,000 to tell us whether or not we should move ahead or not.
yeah, so I imagine we're obligated to that, to whatever that is. And I can't imagine it being more than an hour worth of time
Yeah. But
to go through it. And probably by our next regular meeting, we'll have more of an understanding what's going on.
I mean, even a cap on how much they spend to determine. whether or
Well,
not
hold
they
hold
think
on here,
it's
so, but hold on. We're not in closed session,
Oh, okay.
so, so we'll go through all that with them and bring it back to the council. Before we're not gonna eat the whole apple at one time. So, all right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. All right, motion carried. Entertaining the motion to adjourn, so moved. Any discussion?
We're getting a raise for that one.
Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
We are adjourned. Yeah,